sa salitang Greek word na anthropos meaning human at logia naman ay study. Ang anthropology, ito yung pag-aaral sa iba't ibang aspeto ng tao sa nakaraan at sa kasalukuyang pag-uugali nito. Ang archaeology, ito yung nakapokus sa gawa ng tao, katulad lamang ng caves, bahay, jewelry at iba pa. Ang biological anthropology naman, it examines the ways humans adapt to different environment, katulad ng human paleontology, primatology, at forensic anthropology. Ang cultural anthropology, ito yung kung gaano kainteresado ang pamumuhay ng tao at pagkakaroon ng kahulugan ng mga tao sa kanilang paligid, katulad na lamang ng folklore, social norms, arts. Ang linguistic naman, ito yung pag-aaral sa iba't ibang kultura.
Anthropologists are interested in the whole of humanity, in how various aspects of life interact, the study of the whole of the human condition. Ito ay ang pananaw sa kalagayan ng tao na nagsasabi na ang isip bilang individual ay nagbibigay kahulugan sa isa't isa. Ito rin ay pagsasama-sama ng lahat ng nalalaman tungkol sa tao. Halimbawa nito ay ang isang teorya na naniniwala na hindi mo masisira o maaalis ang mga bagay-bagay tungkol sa kaugalian ng tao. Ito ang kailangan maunawaan kaugnay sa kabuuan ng mga bahagi nito. Anthropologists conduct their research in the field with civilization or groups of people they are studying. In cultural anthropology, our fieldwork is referred to as ethnography, which is both the process and result of cultural anthropological research. Ito ay ang pangangalap ng datos ng mga anthropolog. Ito rin ang proseso ng pag-aaral sa sarili sa maraming aspeto ng pang-araw-araw na buhay o kultural ng mga tao upang mapag-aralan ang kanilang pag-uugali at pakikipag-ugnayan. Halimbawa nito ay ang habang nakikipag-ugnayan sa araw-araw ang mga anthropolog, sila ay nagdodokumento ng kanilang mga obserbasyon at pananaw tungkol sa pananaliksik sa pag-uugali ng mga tao.
Citizen, I have a video. Number 3 is comparison. Anthropologists of all have use comparison to learn what humans have in common, how we differ, and how we change. In cultural anthropology, we compare ideas, morals, practices, and systems within or between cultures. We might compare the rules of men and women in different societies, or contrast how different religious groups conflict within a given society. This is another example of comparison. The orange compared to apple and apple compared to the orange.
Ethnography. Ethnography is the branch of anthropology and the systematic study of individual cultures. And it is a study through direct observation of the user in the natural environment rather than in the lab. Tsaka yung At saka yung ethnography is nagre-research din siya. For example, nagre-research din siya about sa education. Nire-research niya yung sa students, sa personnel, sa ano pa ba to? Sa mga curriculum, sa school, ganun. Nire-research yun. Yun yung nire-research siya. Kumbaga, ayun yung sa ethnography. Kumbaga, more on study talaga sila ng mga individual culture. And, more on din sila sa research eh. Parang lang sila, ganun, nagdo-documentary lang din sila ng mga bagay-bagay sa loob ng ethnography. Ganun, obserbahan lang nila kung paano yung mga nangyayari sa nakakapaloob doon. Kunyari, for example ko nga sa school, ganun, kung paano siya nagpa-process.
Oh, they are not the same. The difference between them is anthropology studies human behavior more individual, while sociology it focuses more on group behavior and relation with social structures and institutions. In anthropology, it conducts research using ethnography, while sociology it can use both qualitative and quantitative methods. The primary goals of anthropology is to understand human diversity and cultural diversity, while sociology, the primary goal of this is more solution-oriented with the goal of fixing social problems through policy.
Ericksonian way. Most frequently employ the term identity. The word identity is defined as a person's sense of self or a particular character or personality, or defined as a person's sense who they are and what they are like. To learn more about Ericksonian way, let's watch the video.
Erickson's theory of psychosocial development identifies 8 stages which a healthy individual should pass through from birth to death. At each stage, we encounter different needs, ask new questions, and meet people who influence our behavior and learning. Stage 1. Basic trust versus mistrust. As infants, we ask ourselves if we can trust the world, and we wonder if it's safe. We learn that if we can trust someone now, we can also trust others in the future. If we experience fear, we develop doubt and mistrust. The key to our development is our mother. Stage 2. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. In our early childhood, we experience ourselves and discover our body. We ask, is it okay to be me? If we are allowed to discover ourselves, then we develop self-confidence. If we are not, we can develop shame and self-doubt. Both parents now play a major role. Stage 3. Initiative versus guilt. In preschool, we take initiative, try out new things, and learn basic principles like how round things roll. We ask, is it okay for me to do what I do? If we are encouraged, we can follow our interests. If we are held back or told that what we do is silly, we can develop guilt. We are now learning from the entire family. Stage 4. Industry versus inferiority. Now we discover our own interests and realize that we are different from others. We want to show that we can do things right. We ask if we can make it in this world. If we receive recognition from our teachers or peers, we become industrious, which is another word for hard-working. If we get too much negative feedback, we start to feel inferior and lose motivation. Our neighbors and schools now influence us the most. Stage 5. Identity versus role confusion. During adolescence, we learn that we have different social roles. We are friends, students, children, and citizens. Many experience an identity crisis. If our parents now allow us to go out and explore, we can find identity. If they push us to conform to their views, we can face role confusion and feel lost. Key to our learning are our peers and role models. Stage 6. Intimacy versus isolation. As young adults, we slowly understand who we are and we start to let go of the relationships we had built earlier in order to fit in. We ask ourselves if we can love. If we can make a long-term commitment, we are confident and happy. If we cannot form intimate relationships, we might end up feeling isolated and lonely. Our friends and partners are now central to our development. Stage 7. Generativity versus stagnation. When we reach our 40s, we become comfortable, use our leisure time creatively, and maybe begin contributing to society. Our concern is generativity. If we think that we are able to lead the next generation into this world, we are happy. If we did not resolve some conflicts earlier, we can become pessimistic and experience stagnation. People at home and at work are now who influences them most. Stage 8. Ego integrity versus despair. As we grow older, we tend to slow down and begin to look back over our lives. We ask, how have I done? If we think we did well, we develop feelings of contentment and integrity. If not, we can experience despair and become grumpy and bitter. Time to compare us with mankind. Erik Erikson was a German-American psychologist who, together with his wife Joan, became known for his work on psychosocial development. He was influenced by Sigmund and Anna Freud and became famous for coining the phrase identity crisis. Although Erikson lacked even a bachelor's degree, he served as a professor at Harvard and Yale.
Impact of the concept of culture on the concept of man's basic premises. Number 1 is yung marriage, economy, religion, etc. Ito is yung kung paano natin sineselebrate or nakakaiba-iba in terms of economy, marriage, religion, culture, yung mga ganun, kung paano ba natin siya isa-celebrate. Number 2 is yung what makes people culture different, not the same. Ito nga yung iba-iba, kasi nga hindi naman tayo pare-parehas ng paniniwala, hindi tayo pare-parehas ng kinakalakihan. Magkaiba ang Western sa Eastern. Hindi tayo pare-parehas ng concept ng culture. So, yung number 4 is about sa behavior ng isang tao. It helps define in human nature. Kumbaga, kung ano yung pinapakita niyang behavior is nakakatulong ito para mapakita ba talaga kung ano ba talagang pag-uugali ng isang tao.